Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Our Universe. I am your host, Kim, and today we have a very, very special guest with us today, Queen Marie from Queen Formation. So, welcome to the channel. How are you doing today, Queen Marie?
Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm doing just fine here in north of Sweden. It's getting colder up here, but
Oh, wow.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. So, Queen Formation, I've been watching your channel for a while, and I just love your show. It's so informative, and it's so refreshing. And I just love how you vlog your life and the events that's going on, your ups, your downs, and everything in between. So, how did you? We'll start off with your first question. So, for those who may be meeting you for the first time, can you share a little bit about who you are and the journey that brought you where you are today?
Wow, how much time do we have? No, as we spoke just before you hit that record button about us just being ordinary. Like, I'm just an ordinary woman who happened to wake up at the age of 55. This is now 5 years ago. And to be honest, on the outside, it really looked like I lived the perfect, happy life. I always heard that from friends and people around me. I lived in that beautiful house with a loving husband. And I mean, I had it all. But I left that secure life because there was something within me that was calling. And at that time, I had no clue about what it was. I think I was just maybe as you who's listening to this today, I felt that frustration and I felt lost after the kids has grown up and left and I had lost my business and I was struggling to build a new business and I felt a lot of guilt and shame and not being enough, right? So I think I fitted into all of that so many is struggling with. But one day I was in another fight with my husband, and that day I jumped into our van and just drove away. And it wasn't planned, and it was just again something within me that was drawing me to just give myself time to think, to reflect, and to get to know me. So days became weeks and became months. And in the end, we divorced. And here I am 5 years later. I'm living my life in freedom. And I've been studying me since that day to understand why I was carrying so much anger that many times was puking out to my poor husband. And yeah, it's I would say I was literally born to help. I was born 60 years ago, and the year before I was born, my mother gave birth to a son without arms and legs. And they took him away from her and said, go home and make a new baby, because this one is not gonna be able to sit or walk or, he's better off in an institution. So I'm that baby who was gonna help them out of that terrible grief. So I've been helping my whole life, but I haven't really found the way. I think I helped in a way that hasn't been very healthy and not very sustainable, neither for me or for the people, because I've been trying to fix other people's lives um, my whole life. But now the last 5 years, when I've been studying me and understood who I truly am and why I'm here, things has just totally changed, and I'm so grateful for that version of me 5 years ago who had the courage to drive away. And even if everyone was just screaming at me like, what are you doing, leaving your security, and how can you do this to your husband? And this is such a classic. Maybe some of you can relate. Like, how can you do this to him, or how can you do this to her, or how can you do this to your parents? I mean, when we choose ourselves, we don't do it to anyone else. We do it for ourselves, and that's our birthright. So yeah, in like, I am an ordinary woman who just was curious enough to find out who I truly am, like doing this inner work and reaching this greatness that we all have within us. And for that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, what a beautiful message. And it's amazing how, just like what you were saying, how one incident, there's things that are subconsciously going on in our minds that we're not always aware of consciously. So we may be feeling a certain kind of way about things, or things could be building up within us. And sometimes it just takes that one incident or that one thing to just click us out of it, to where we're able to make that catalyst, we're able to make that move. It's
Yeah.
time for me to leave something if it's no longer serving you anymore. So that's your
Mm,
story is amazing. And I love how you put that, how sometimes it is time for us to make changes.
mm,
It just has to be when you're ready.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what inspired you to start the Queen Formation YouTube channel?
Well, it was an ongoing journey. Like, many people said that I should start this YouTube channel and get out there, and I just didn't feel ready. But there was one of my friends who was constantly repeating this message, and he was also present on YouTube, and he was doing really well. So I listened to him a little extra, of course, because he was doing the things I wanted to do, but I was too scared to start. But just because he kept believing in me and really showing that I was enough, and there is people out there, especially women, who needs to hear your story, to needs to, yeah. And I'm so grateful for this young man. He could be my son Solomon, 35 years old, and he's a really good friend, and he was the one who inspired me, because he didn't give up on me. He didn't buy my bullshit. Like, I'm not ready. Who am I to do this? So it's thanks to him. And like, his message of that there is women in your situation where you were 5 years ago who needs to hear this. I think that was the turning point when I really started to listen. Like, okay, so there are versions of me out there who I can help, because when it comes to help, then I got turned on.
Yes, that's so important, to know that there are other women out there, especially for us women today, because we look at Instagram, we see Facebook, we see all of these websites or apps out here that just show a glamorized version of what we're supposed to be doing, or how we're supposed to be living life. And so it's refreshing to see someone like you that's that we're everyday women, out here. We're going through our ups and downs. We're trying to make ends meet. We're trying to do what we can, hold our wits together, and
Mm,
keep ourselves together mentally, physically, spiritually, in every way. And sometimes that could be a very daunting task, especially in the times that we're living in, because we're living in some difficult times right now. So
mm,
it is good to know that there are other women out there that are experiencing a multitude of different things, loneliness, or maybe starting over again, or dealing with just all kinds of things. So it's good to know that. So was there a defining moment in your life that led you to step into your divine feminine?
what a great question. And my answer to that it wasn't really a moment. It came step by step whilst I was healing my wounded masculine. I've been a lot in my masculine during my life, and I didn't even know. what feminine and masculine energy was when I started this journey 5 years ago. It was actually a friend who said to me in a sharp tone, like, "You're not very nice, Marie, when you are so much in your masculine energy." She said, and I was like, "Okay, what she's talking about?" She was a little bit ahead of me. She had been studying this for a few years, and I was like, she said it in a way. I think it was a tough love. It was the tough love I needed at back then. So I got curious, and I realized that I was living a lot in my masculine, wounded masculine. I tried to control everything. I was very dominant, and I was holding on to a lot of anger, just like my father, who I disliked so much in my life. And that was a very huge discovery for me. Like, oh my God, I I don't like to use the word hate, but during my childhood, and I really, we were not in a good place, me and my father. And I today he left for many years ago this planet, and I have forgiven him for many years ago. But I didn't understand that I was repeating his patterns. I didn't understand that. So I got help to heal this, and by doing that, I was shown like this divine feminine energy, like, this is where you belong, Marie. This is where all your power is. This is where you can really, really help other women. So, wow, it was like closing one door and opening another. But it was step by step. It wasn't just like one moment, but slowly and surely I realized that this is where home is. This is like, yeah, it was like coming home, and also connecting much deeper to my mom that passed away 2018, which I didn't really grieve at that time because I was so much in my masculine. So it's this is really interesting to dive into and to see where what energy are we actually embracing, because she was love. She was in her divine feminine. But yeah, so it's so interesting that this topic. I could speak for forever about this, because it's. I mean, if we in our divinity and our as how do you say as us as a feminine leaders. I mean, we could truly change this world. There wouldn't be this toughness out there. There wouldn't be this. Yeah, I get emotional when I think about it, because it could be so easy
Yes.
if we could bring in more feminine energy to this world, and to also open that door for the men, um, because it's not about we women are better than but we need the balance, right?
Yes, we do need the balance. You're absolutely right, because we're seeing out here in the world what's happening right now with all this masculine power is chaos, it's war, it's, bruteness. And when we
Yeah.
bring in that divine feminine, the divine feminine is able to bring in softness and
Mm,
still strength, but it's a softer strength.
mm,
It's being able to go within and feel empathy for
mm,
others and looking at all spectrums versus just one side of things.
mm,
And that's what I see the divine feminine as being, still strong, but soft, but gentle, but just seeing things from a more beautiful, a well-rounded point of view. And you're absolutely right about that. I think that if we had more of a balance of feminine power, this world would be a different place. We would be in a much better place. I feel like we as women, we're well rounded. We think about things from all spectrums, not just from one side. We think about things from multitudes of things. We think about how people feel and, what difference will it make? How will it benefit mankind? So hopefully one day, maybe a lot of the world leaders will be female. I hope so. That would
Up.
bring about a lot of wonderful change, I think.
But again, I mean, we need both. We need definitely the both. And it's I think the most important part is that we women, we step up and start to support each other instead of comparing each other, uh,
Yes.
and competing and judging, and like we need to be each other's medicine. I can't remember where I heard it, but I think it's such a beautiful way of looking upon it. When we as women come together and support each other, we become each other's medicine.
Yes.
And that's also what many men are afraid of, because together we are powerful.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I want.
You're
they want
exactly right.
they
You're
want to separate us. Yeah.
They do. And you're so right. I remember when you were just saying that you had to be so much into your masculine energy. And I feel that a lot of women today feel like because we're having to do so many single women having to do things on their own, pay the bills, repair their cars, work around the house, having to be all the things, the male and the female. So that's why a lot of women are having to feel like they have to be in their masculine energy. If life was a little bit easier and a little bit different, we would be able to tap into our feminine energy a little bit more and feel more comfortable with that. But when you see the world and you see mostly male leaders and this and that, and what's going on right now with wars and chaos, it's very hard um, to really tap into that motherly, nurturing energy because we're being bombarded by all of this chaos and craziness that's going on. But I feel like as time goes on, we will be able to enter into that more divine feminine purity, especially as we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius. I do feel like that we will be able to start to be able to do that more. So this leads me to the next question. What spiritual practices or rituals do you use regularly to stay grounded and empowered?
Oh, this is so interesting, because once I started to study me, and I started to study with Bob Proctor, and he's a very masculine mentor.
Good, yeah.
There was a lot of routines. I followed that list every morning, but I very quickly I realized it became mechanically, and it was like when I tried to be in my feminine energy, it was how do you say in English?
Clash or a fight?
It didn't it wasn't aligned, because I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to just do this, tick off the list of things. So even if I kind of have a few things that I keep coming back to, it's not like I go up every morning at 5 o'clock doing my cold shower and meditate and yoga and all these, like many of the gurus out there are, well, they are still saying they're doing it. I never done it that way because it doesn't work for me. So what I always do when I wake up, I never have an alarm. I sleep until I wake up, and the first thing I do in bed is that I give myself a big smile. Because when you smile to yourself, your whole body is relaxing. Like you can feel how you connect. Even if you had a bad night or whatever, you start to smile. And I hug myself. And sometimes I stay in bed and play some nice music or listen to a meditation, or I go up to the mirror and give myself some love. I can ask myself, like, what do you need right now from me? So to find out where am I, because every day isn't the same like
Yes.
the previous day. And I think that's also we are unique beings and we go through different phases. And I know you are into astrology, and so you know that what's going on out there, the stars, the planets, it affects us.
It
And what's
does.
yeah, and I think that's what we have to be open to. Like today, I just need to take it easy. And another day, I might want to go out for a walk in the forest. So, back to your question, I don't have this routine that I strictly follow because I don't believe in that. But I always give myself love and time to be in my to be in myself, to be with myself in the moment, to like connect and what do I need? And if you are present, you will always get the answer. No one else can say to you that you should do this and that every morning to be successful or feel good or whatever it is you want to accomplish. No one. You have to try and to feel like this suits me. Well, it doesn't suit me to go up 5 o'clock in the morning. They try to invite me to this 5 a.m. club. No, I like my slow mornings. So yeah, so I don't believe in this all these routines. I think it's more masculine for me. To live in my divine feminine is to allow myself to feel what do I need right now. Does that
Yeah.
answer your question?
Yes, yes, that was the perfect answer because what you said, the concept of what you're saying is beautiful because we should be checking with ourselves every day because like you said every day is different. So every day you're going to have different needs. You're going to not always waking up feeling fresh, or maybe you wake up and you're in a grumpy mood and you've got to try to find out with yourself, okay, what do I need to do right now to get myself out of this grumpy mood? Because
Mm,
how we relate to ourselves is how we show up for others.
mm,
So if we don't check within ourselves and show ourselves compassion and love and really work do the work and start working within ourselves, we see it as a mirror every day when you go out in the world and you go, let's say you go out on the highway and somebody sticks their middle finger up at you, or they start cussing you, or you
mm,
know they haven't really checked within themselves to see, okay, why am I feeling this way?
mm,
What can I do to change my thought process? Because like you said, that compassion and self-talk, what we say to ourselves and how we treat ourselves, is so important because it's going to reflect on how we treat others.
mm.
So that is
Absolutely.
so important.
Mm.
You're
It all
so right.
starts it all starts with this self-love that we hear so much about, but very, very few understand the concept of it. But that's the shit that differentiates if you're gonna wake up every morning and feel good. If you
Right, right,
love yourself and value yourself, that's where it starts. And
right.
also, you say how we treat others. Exactly. So yeah, it's um, it's um, it's so simple. I don't know. I
It
don't want
really is.
to trigger anyone. I don't want to like. I really want to show respect for everyone's struggle and whatever goes on in your life, whatever mountain you're climbing right now. But life doesn't have to be hard.
No, it doesn't. You're exactly right. We overcomplicate things sometimes. We really do.
Yeah.
We overcomplicate it sometimes.
I mean, we do that by searching for answers outside of you. And at the same time, you have everything you need within. I had no clue about this 5 years ago. So I totally understand you if you feel like what she's talking about. But it's true. It's
It
so
is. It
like
is.
everything we need is
There's
already.
always a saying, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's a saying here. I can't exactly word it, but it says that everything that you need is just within reach. And that is so true. When you really start thinking about, okay, what do I need? Do I, if there's something that you need for the house, you can go to the hardware store. It's really not that far. If you need a cake, you can just go to the bakery and get it baked. You know, if you need to talk to someone, you have a friend that you could possibly talk to. So everything, well, I can't say it's that simple all the time, but it really kind of is. It's just sometimes, like you said, when we start reaching for the outside, everything, the answers that we really truly need to know are really within us. It's just really taking the time to really delve in and really think about things, meditate, and the answers will come. You're so right about that. But yeah, it is true. Things that we really need are all around us. The answers are all around us and within us. Well, this leads me to the next question. So, how can women set boundaries? This is a little different. How can women set boundaries from a place of love instead of fear and guilt?
It's very simple, because once you start to build this self-love for yourself and really claim your worth, like you start to value yourself from the second you wake up in the morning, this challenge that many women is facing of setting boundaries will come natural. But it will never come natural as long as you don't love and value yourself. And there will always be people getting upset with you when you start to set boundaries. Maybe you have tried to do it and they got angry with you. So you, no, so you change your mind and you step back and you let them climb all over you again. But these people who's getting upset when you set boundaries are actually the people who's benefiting from you not having any boundaries.
Yes.
So, I mean, I remember in my marriage, like my husband was a very loving man, but he was kind of, he didn't want me to change. He didn't want me to change. He wanted me to stay the same. So when I started this journey, he got scared, and I did start to set new boundaries. And I think that's where everything started, that he didn't recognize me. And this is what will happen when you start to say no, to be able to choose yourself. Because every time we say yes to other people without even reflecting upon, is this what I want, you say no to yourself, and you walk all over yourself. So you are the worst, and you are your own worst enemy. Can you say that? Because the first thing is like, what do I need right now? Like, just like I ask myself in the morning. That's what you want to give yourself a moment. If someone asks you to do something for them, or to join them for anything, or whatever it is they want you to do, you want to give yourself a moment to ask, what do I need? Is this something that I want to do or are capable of doing? And I think also, when we are living all this busyness, it's such a busy life, so much things that's going on around us, and we don't have to give an answer like that. We can
Yes.
say, so if you are practicing on setting boundaries, or if you feel like I want to become better in setting boundaries, start to practice like, okay, I hear you, but I can't give you an answer right now. I will get back to you in 1 hour or tomorrow or whenever, whatever, depending on what it is. So give yourself, that's also a boundary. Like, you don't have to be 24/7 on your phone. You don't have to answer all the time. You don't have to be available. You don't have to do anything. Of course, if you have a job, you have to maybe do certain things. There's so many things that we think that we have to do, but we don't. So start to just give yourself like, hmm, I'll let you know in 1 hour or tonight before I go to bed, because that gives you this moment to reflect. Is this my choice if I say yes? Or is it just because I'm afraid that they will not like me as much if I say no? Or am I scared to not be invited the next time for this dinner or party or whatever it is? We want to ask ourselves the questions: why am I saying yes? Or why am I saying no? And as long as you do that, you don't run all over yourself anymore. So that's what I've been doing.
Yes, yes, and that's perfect how you said that because my mother always used to tell me, "Don't break your will," which basically means if somebody asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, or you have to do something and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Just simply just say, "No, I can't," or "I'm not able to," and you don't even have to give an explanation of why you're not able to do it. And I think that as women, that is something that we really well, not all women, but especially some, I've struggled with it, of setting boundaries and saying no because you're afraid that, oh, if I say no or if I don't do this, then I may lose this friendship, or someone may be mad with me, or they may get angry with me about something. Well, if they just get angry, they get mad, just let them get mad. I mean, there are just sometimes as women, we do so many things for other people. We have to really take care of ourselves first because, as the saying goes, we can't pour from an empty cup. We have to fill up our own cup first and take care of ourselves before we can help others. It's just like being in an airplane. You know how they always tell you, before you, in case they lose altitude, before you're able to help someone else, you've got to be strapped in. You've got to have your own, the bag, to breathe in. You've got to give yourself air first before you can help someone else.
Mm.
And I think a lot of women, that is a struggle. We are always putting other people first
Mm.
before ourselves.
Yeah.
So
And this,
important.
just like you say, we are afraid to lose friendships. We are afraid of not being accepted and loved, and we are afraid of being alone. And
Yes.
this is why I scale down. I still, after 5 years, live in a van, and I scale down. Everything I own is in this van, and there's a very few things. And because if I cannot be respected and loved, even though I live this kind of lifestyle outside the norm, well, then these people are not belonging in my life. I don't want to be judged by um, how I look or how I live or what I have or how much money I have. That's irrelevant. So I think we're living in an era where we're getting so many labels, and we think that is what makes us um, worthy of respect and love and taking up space. But it's totally the opposite. It has nothing to do with that. So yeah, I just wish that everyone could be able to experience how it is to live in this kind of freedom without
Yes.
all the stuff and all the you don't have to ask anyone for permission to do anything. And it's I'm not saying that everyone has to move from their house and homes. I just want everyone to give themselves time to think about, why am I holding on to this?
Hmm.
Because people are not very happy where they live. They might not be happy in their house, they might not be happy in their job, they might not be happy in their relationship, but they still stay because they are afraid they be alone, they don't get another job, or they, who am I if I don't have this beautiful beach house where I used to live? And I'm perfectly okay without that beautiful beach house because it doesn't matter what we have, there will come a day when we have to leave it all behind. So
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't define who I am. I think that's the biggest lesson, because before I started this journey 5 years ago, I I let my old mistakes define who I was. my divorce from my children's dad, my bankruptcy. I lost companies. I, I let that define me as a failure, and I felt so much guilt around that. And it has nothing to do with who I am. It belongs in the past. We only have now. So whatever you have gone through, whatever you are carrying, let go. Let
Yeah.
go. But again,
Yes.
you don't have to move into a van, but it's great, like way of life living.
To be free, I think a lot of people are starting to realize just what we're talking about here about and I'll just give you an example. There are things that can happen to us that are through no fault of our own. Just like with the natural disasters, you could have a hurricane or a house fire. It
Mm,
could burn everything that you've ever worked for. Just like my car, I got hit and I've had that car for like 11 years. It's just a small example, but within a minute it was gone.
mm,
And like you said, there are things that can happen to us, even through no fault of our own, that can just totally change our lives. And who are we when we don't have those things? Who are we when we just let those things go? We're still who we are, but we do value ourselves somewhat by our titles, by what we have, by what we own. And like you said, one day when we pass away, all of those things are left behind. I remember there was a guy saying one time on his deathbed, he had achieved a lot of great things. He got a lot of awards. He had received a lot of recognition and praise, from his job and all the things that he had achieved in his lifetime. And he said, the only one thing that I gave a damn about when I was dying was my family.
yeah.
Having the people that really cared about me, receiving me, giving me hugs and kisses, and saying my last goodbyes and sentiments before I left this world. I don't give a damn about those trophies and those awards and all that stuff. He didn't
Mm,
give two craps about it. What mattered to him the most was the people that he loved and be surrounded by the people that truly cared for him. And
exactly.
that is such an important thing that we do need to start learning. And we are learning that as we go through these times, how expensive everything is becoming, to where people are not able to afford homes. They're not
Mm,
able to afford the things that we used to be able to do. Who are we now? We're now having to face ourselves. We're
mm,
now having to live with less. And we're realizing that actually when we have less, we actually have more.
mm,
You,
exactly.
you
Exactly.
gain more.
It's so beautiful, and I often ask these questions to my clients. Like, if you wake up tomorrow morning and you lost everything, who are you?
Yeah.
And from asking that question, it's helps me to see where they are on their journey. It's no judging, just to a guidance to where the level of fear is, because it is fear. We are scared to not be enough, and but by being enough has nothing to do with the stuff and the material world. Nothing. So
Yes.
yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
reminder.
Yes. So going to our next question. So, what is something that you wish more women truly understood about themselves?
Hmm, how incredible they are. How how able they are to live the life they dream of. Again, that they all have it within themselves. I mean, we have no clue about who we are before we start to do this inner work. And I remember my mentor, Bob Proctor, when he first said to me, like, are you truly who you think you are? No, he said, are you truly who you pretend to be? That was his question. And I was like, what does he mean? because we are pretending to be someone which is so far away from who we truly are. Like, if we don't connect within and see our own greatness, that's why I call myself Queen Marie. And many people are, I shouldn't say many people, but I know there are people getting triggered. Like, why do you call yourself a queen? That's a title. But it has nothing to do with that kind of title, like you might connect to queen. It helps me to value myself. So what he wanted me to understand that I can't even imagine my own potential, who I truly am. Like, there are so many layers of programming that is holding me back from being me, the incredible me. And again, I am just like you, and I like we are all the same. We were born here to this planet as creators,
Yes.
came here to create, and we were given some gifts, some mental muscles, which we don't have time to go into now. But the animals, they just live from their five senses. They see, hear, taste, and touch. And we have these mental muscles so we can create, especially with the help of our imagination. I mean, if we use our imagination the right way, we can create anything. But because we don't understand how incredible we are, we just exist. We just follow the rules. We just try to fit in. We just walk around feeling not enough when we are just, again, incredible beings. If we just allow ourselves to be, it's not about, I always say and repeat in my videos, like, we are not human doers, we are human beings. So
Yes.
just being you, entering a room, is enough. You don't have to prove anything. If you just lean into your inner greatness, you can light up the whole room. But most women don't understand that because they think they have to look better, be skinnier, be brighter, be more. But no,
Yes. Yes.
it's a lie.
And we are creators. We have unlimitless potential. It's just sometimes I think we get bogged down by society, what society standards are of us. It's like this cookie cutter type of thing that we kind of put ourselves into subconsciously, consciously too, but subconsciously, to where we have to be this person or that person, because if we do anything different, then we're
Mm,
not going to fit in. We may be made fun of, we may be ostracized, we may be put down. um,
mm,
but but like you said, we are creators. Everything that we see has a purpose, and everything that's around us was created with an idea first. It started off as a dream, an idea, and then it came into reality.
mm,
So you're so right about that. We are
mm,
definitely creators, and I think that people a lot of times too, they don't really have the time sometimes to really sit and really think about what they want to do or what they create, because we're in this structure. We're in this 9 to 5 bubble where we're having to work all the time. We're creating somebody else's dream, but not our own.
yes, and we're also so busy taking care of all our stuff. So
Yes.
back to, we have actually put ourselves in this trap, having this house and these cars and all this whatever we have, so we don't have time to actually take care of ourselves and to realize, like, wow, I am so much more than I think I am, and I can actually realize, make reality of my dreams. Sometimes the English is challenging, but but as long as we don't give ourselves time to stop and breathe and relax and connect to these dreams of ours, we will just keep running in this hamster wheel. And that's not what we came here for. So no, it's such a waste. I see so many women who's just keeps holding on to this old luggage of theirs, the old mistakes, the whatever they have gone through, sorrows, and it's time to let go because it's holding you back from living your life that you're all
Yes.
to live. So yeah. So yeah, I just want everyone to understand how incredible they are, and that's what I work with in Queen Formation. It's like Queen Formation. We help women to transform into this queenly format of seeing yourself with new glasses, kind of. You know, but it comes with to be willing to to face this fear because it comes with fear because we all have people around us who doesn't want us to change.
Yes. You're
So
right.
yeah,
Change equals uncomfortability. If
that's
people are not used to seeing you a certain kind of way, it
mm,
strikes fear into their heart because they're afraid that they're going to lose the version of you that they had in their heads.
mm,
That's
exactly.
really what it boils down to.
But this is your life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Live it how you want to live it.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. So our next question is we just got a couple more before we go, but how can gratitude change the way we view ourselves, our relationships, and even our past wounds?
Well, I would say gratitude is everything because once you step into true gratitude for yourself and for everything you have in your life, you instantly change frequency. It's the fastest way to raise your vibration because everything is energy, right? So if we feel like we are low and we're going through hard times, the easiest way is to give yourself time to find just something to be grateful for, and it can be as simple as like I'm breathing. We just take it for granted, but I am healthy. My body is carrying me. So gratitude is absolutely everything. Living your life from a grateful heart makes the whole difference. And I recently, a couple of weeks ago, climbed the highest mountain in Sweden, Kebnekaise, 2,100 meters. And
Wow.
I was not trained, I was not prepared. And I said yes to this challenge because I wanted to see how far I can go with my mindset. And in that includes gratitude. And during this climb, again, I was not trained, but I was singing like, thank you, thank you, thank you, while I was walking. And it was storm, it was cold, it was raining, I was wet. I was like, I didn't have great shoes. It was all wet in my shoes and I was didn't feel my fingers. And I was just singing, thank you, thank you, thank you for every step I took. I took it very slowly. And what happened was that I could feel warmth coming from my heart and new strength. And I'm not making this up. This is real. It took me 14 hours to climb that mountain and go back down again. 14 bloody hours in
A long time.
wet, wind, stormy. I mean, but gratitude was what took me to the top because I was thinking about my children, my grandchildren, and for also my body who's showing up for me and giving me this opportunity to be on this adventure. So I experienced gratitude on a whole new level. I practice gratitude for years now because I've been on rock bottom financially a few years ago, having nothing, and how gratitude helped me in that way. And also, like, when we step into gratitude and reach this higher frequency, it's kind of, the wounds doesn't have the same grip of you. It's kind of a healing session. I can't really put it in words, but it's just a feeling of freeing yourself, freeing yourself from everything out there, because you are so connected with yourself when you're living from true gratitude. Uh, so if you haven't tried and practiced gratitude, and I'm not talking about like having this list, write 5 things here and 5 things there. For me, when I started that way, I was like, it was mechanically. I didn't feel a thing. I needed to combine it with breath work, with dance, with love for myself. So it's a combination of many things, but gratitude is the shit, just like self-love. It's a concept of it all. So yeah, I'm so grateful for practicing gratitude every day. From the moment I wake up in the morning, I show myself gratitude, for breathing, for being here, for so I can't remember what your question was, but it was something with gratitude.
I think, well, you pretty much answered it. How it can change the way that we view ourselves. Like you said, being thankful and being appreciative just of the simple things, like you said, that we take for granted every day, just breathing. Some people can't breathe. They have to be on ventilators, they have to use oxygen. So sometimes when we get stuck in situations, we can be in a place of where we're so angry and so bitter about things, it's hard to find the gratitude in things. But when you really step back and you look at somebody else's situation, or you do think about the things that you have been blessed with or the abilities that you have, it really can change your outlook and really lift your vibrations to a higher place, to a
Yeah,
place where you're able to accept things.
absolutely. And I want to add something, if I may, that it's so important that it has to come from within. You have to choose gratitude, because the first time I was exposed to gratitude, well, as I remember, I think I was around 8 years old, and I had a fight with my brother, and my father came home, and instantly he took my brother's side, and I was so upset. I ran to my room and crashed on this bed, and I cried, and I heard my father coming after me, and I was just wanted to be comfort, but instead he said, "Stop crying. You have arms and legs. You should be grateful for having arms and legs." And I realize now as an adult that that was what I was fed with. I should be grateful. And also it's just as stupid to say to a kid like, eat your food because you should be grateful. There are other kids in Africa who hasn't the ability to eat. I mean, we can't force anyone to be grateful. We can just inspire them. We can show the way, like, this has helped me in this situation. But coming to a person who's really really angry or sad or anxious or whatever, to say you should be grateful, it's I mean, you're just up for a war. It doesn't work. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. It's not the way of doing it. So I think I found gratitude very late in my life, maybe because of that. um, but it's a beautiful concept. It's
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Like I said, people have to be ready to get to that place, and they have to understand, okay, why should I be grateful?
Mm.
Like you said, somebody just tells you, oh, just be grateful that you've got food on the table, or just be grateful that
mm,
that you're able to that you have a job.
mm,
Sometimes you're not feeling in that way, especially if that job is stressing you out, or
mm,
especially if you're going through a lot of things. You just have to get to a place to where you have that understanding with yourself that this is where I need to be to get to the next level. Because gratefulness to me, or gratitude, equals humility,
mm,
being humble, realizing that the things that we take for granted can be stripped away. It is
mm,
not a given. It is not something that we automatically sometimes get. It's not something that we automatically will receive. Some things we have to work for, some things some people just naturally have. So being
mm,
grateful to me is a way of showing honor to our creator and showing honor to ourselves, that we
mm,
do appreciate where we're at, what we have, or what we have to work with. I think about when I think about that term of gratefulness, I think about in tarot the card of 5 of Cups. And 5 of Cups is a man standing beside the water, and he's got 3 cups that are spilled with whatever liquid it is, and 2 cups that are still standing. So the person may still be in grief, they may still be in sadness and sorrow, but what they're not realizing is that they still have 2 cups standing. There are
mm,
still things in your life that are working. There are
mm,
still things in your life that are present for you to appreciate and
mm,
be to be appreciative of. So
mm.
that's what that term gratefulness makes me think of. So we're coming to our last question. So if someone feels stuck or disconnected from gratitude, where do you recommend that they begin?
Hmm. I think it's all about. Now, it was such a noise, I couldn't hear.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I had it on vibrate. It kind of disrupted me too. But what would you say? Where would you say a person would need to begin to start to feel grateful about the things that they have, that they do have, or what is working in their life, especially when things are just going all wrong?
it all comes down to give yourself this pause to just stop, because you will never find the solutions outside of you. You will never find new things to be grateful for. So the first step, whatever we go through when life is chaos, it's to stop and breathe. Just take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, okay, what is going on? Why do I feel this way? Don't don't judge it. Just ask yourself questions to find out, where am I in my life? Where, because I think it's the biggest problem is that we are trying. This is what I used to do in my previous version of me. I was trying to run and solve my problems at the same time, but it doesn't work. It might work for a moment or two, but then there are new accidents or obstacles showing up because we don't solve our life in that way. The only way is to stop and to breathe, reflect, and also relax. Give yourself time to feel whatever you feel and don't judge it. Because I think that's also to be in the divine feminine, to allow our feelings and don't try to label them and don't try to maybe understand them all. You might not understand why you feel the way you feel right now, but you still are allowed to feel what you feel. And if we live with a partner, um, they often want to understand what's wrong with you. I remember, like, how can I fix you? They want to fix us. So if you live with a partner and you find it difficult to just get time for yourself and feel grateful, I mean, you have to set these boundaries again. to say, I need time for me now. I need this time to come home. I don't need you to fix me. Just hold space for me. Just be there and give me this time. I don't need to be fixed because I think that's the conflict between the masculine and the feminine many times, that men, they want to fix because they don't want to see their woman hurt or sad or angry or frustrated or devastated. But we need to go through these feelings. And once we do, when we allow ourselves to be there, to feel all the feelings, you will know how to be grateful. It will just come to you. I can't put it in words like you do this or in this situation. It's just once you come home to yourself, you will have the answers. It will come natural to you. You will know. So that's my message. Like, claim your worth of taking time off. And that's where it can be difficult if you have a 9 to 5 job. I mean, we women are not made to go to work every day like a robot because we are women, right? We are women with all our feelings and our cycles, and that needs to be honored. So we are how do you say, we are
We're caregivers and everything in between.
yes, and when we don't listen to what our needs are, we are betraying ourselves in the long run. It's not sustainable. It will always end up with depression and yeah, illnesses. So
Yes.
I'm not saying that we're not going to take care of our kids and parents and be responsible and do our work and pay our bills, but there has to be time for you.
Yes.
Then it has to be filthy for a while at home, and the laundry have to wait because you are the most important person in your life. Nothing else, not even your kids. And that's also something many of my clients has such a challenge with, when I say, no, you are more important than your kids. You are responsible and you need to make sure that they are safe, yes. But if you don't value yourself first, you will not be able to be that caretaker for anyone. But
Yes.
yeah, that's not
Absolutely.
that's not how the system wants us to act. They don't
No,
want
it
to
doesn't.
balance off.
It's not conducive to self-love at all, the system that we live in,
Mm,
because it's all about structure. It's about time, being here working at these jobs 9 to 5. By the
mm,
time you get up in the morning, everything is devoted to the damn job. You got to get up and you got to make yourself presentable so you can get to work. Then you got to drive to work. Then you've got to pack lunch. Then you go to work. And then by the time you get home, you're so drained and you're so tired that you the last thing that you even want to do is even think. Sometimes you just want to sit on the couch. But sometimes you can't do that. You've got to feed the kids, you've got to do the laundry, you've got to do all of these things that you need to do. And like you said, sometimes things just have to wait. In
mm,
order for you to get yourself together, to be your whole self, to show up for other people, some things just you have to set boundaries. Things just have to wait. It's okay to let that laundry sit. It's okay to let those dishes sit for a day or two. They'll still be there.
mm,
Sometimes you just have to take time out for yourself to
mm,
work out within you. Like you said, stopping is the
mm,
best thing that you can do, because when you just continue to run on, run, 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 nothing ever gets solved. It just culminates into a big, big turd, I guess you could say it. And then all
mm,
of a sudden one day you just wake up and you're like, what happened? What is going on? Everything just falls apart. So
mm,
you're exactly right about that. I know my brother used to always have this analogy where he used to tell me, anytime that you're experiencing something, a problem, to just stand.
Mm.
Just stand. And I didn't kind of understand what he was saying at first, but then after I started to really think about what he was saying, I got the gravity of it. To not always make a move, to not always make a choice, to not always make a decision. Just stand, just simply stop, pause and reflect. How do you feel? And what can I do about this to make it any better? Is there anything else that I can do?
Mm.
So
What a
you're
wise
exactly,
brother.
yeah. And he was exactly right. And that's what I do now. When I get into a situation, like you said, you don't always have to immediately answer. You
Mm.
can take time to think about things, what you need, what you
Exactly.
want to do.
The most powerful thing we can do as humans is sit with yourself in
Yes.
silence.
And
No
that can
music.
be scary too.
Exactly. And if you find it scary, then you really need to do it over and over again. I mean, oh, you will find out so many things about you when you give yourself time to just sit with yourself or just be in silence with you, because wow, to really listen what's going on up there. Why am
Yeah.
I saying these things to myself? How
Yes.
crazy is this? But if we never stop, we will never hear it.
Yes. Absolutely. We have to be
Yes,
still and in that quietness to hear the voice, to hear the answer.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, there are so many ways to enjoy life in a better way than we do, most humans. But it's all about consciousness. It's
Yes.
we need to become aware of who am I? What do I want? Do I really want to live life like this? If yes, great, continue. But if
Yeah.
right.
But you're exactly right. And this conversation has been extremely enlightening because I think a lot of people um, understand what we're talking about and feel the same way about the topics that we're discussing today. So thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to allow me to do this interview with you. And so tell me a little bit more about the services that you offer and where can people sign up. You have classes and where can people sign up to work with you?
To celebrate and make it accessible for everyone. And you reach me through YouTube. That's where I you can find me, Queen Marie, Queen Formation, or just send me an email on marie@queenformations.com. Because I am not on the other platforms. I'm giving myself time to rest as well, because I want to live as I teach. Like, I don't want to be everywhere. Um, so I'm looking forward. If you are in a place where you want to start a win in your daily life, that's what it's all about. Stop comparing and going around not feeling enough, because we women, we deserve so much more. And I know how it is to lose yourself, but I also know what it takes to rise again. And that's what I take you through as a guide in this program. So very welcome to reach out to me. And again, I'm so happy that you invited me to your beautiful podcast, Kim.
Well, thank you so much, Queen Marie, and I greatly appreciate your wisdom and your knowledge today. And thank you so much for sharing your information with us today because I know it's going to help a lot of viewers out here. So I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join me. And I hope one day, again, maybe later, we can do another interview.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm open. And maybe I can invite you to Queen Formation. I have had a lot of questions from viewers like, why don't you have a podcast? And I said, do I have to have a podcast as well? Isn't it enough to have a YouTube channel? One step at a time. So that day I will invite you, Kim. But
Okay, wonderful. That sounds wonderful, Queen Marie. Thank you.
thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Queen Marie, and namaste. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. And thank you. And I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. All
Thank you so much.
right. Thank you.